Good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. Excuse me, Ed, are you with us?
Hey, Mike, good morning. Happy New
Hey,
Year.
good morning and Happy New Year, everybody. I'm Mike Elliott. This, of course, is the CEO Roadshow webinar series where we feature small and mid-cap stocks that may be undervalued or have other upcoming catalysts that make them a potential long-term investment opportunity. Today, we're joined again by Mr. Ed Karr. He's the founder of US Gold Corp. They're, as you know, a publicly traded US-focused gold exploration and development company that trades on the NASDAQ under the ticker USAU. Before I turn it over to Ed, everyone, please note at the bottom of your screens, there's a Q&A button. Feel free to click on that at any time during the presentation and enter your questions. We'll try to get to as many as we can at the end. With that said, Ed, I will turn it over to you.
Great. Thanks, Mike. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the introduction. Happy New Year to you and to everyone. Thanks so much for joining this US Gold Corp webinar, first one here of 2022. So look, I think this year, 2022, is going to go down as the year of inflation. I really do. You know, when you look at some of these numbers that we've had out right at the end of 2021, you know, both the CPI and the PPI, they're really ripping. We've had some of the highest numbers since 1982. And I tell you, there's nothing out there, in my opinion, that shows this inflation is going to stop. In fact, we're probably, in my opinion, only the second inning of a 9-inning inflation ball game that might even go into overtime. So I'm sure everyone sees around the world right now, we've got COVID just ripping, Omicron, the variant going everywhere. And this is going to cause, you know, even more supply chain disruptions. I think 2022 will be a real uncertain year, you know, especially in China, big exporter. China has this zero policy towards any COVID outbreak. So they lock down really hard. And that has the potential to really lead, in my opinion, to higher inflation and higher commodity prices. And if you've been watching, you know, over the last month in December, actually, the price of gold's been ticking up. We're currently about $1,815 an ounce on gold right now. And I would keep your eyes on the price of bullion. You know, I really think we're going higher in 2022 as the market starts to realize and readjust to this higher inflationary environment we're in. I do not believe it's transitory. And so a lot of people thought it was transitory in 2021. They're going to start to realize now in 2022 that is not the case. And you watch, you know, a lot of manufacturers that didn't raise their prices last year because they didn't want to lose market share. Well, they just let it erode into their margins. They're going to start raising prices now, the first quarter of this year. So prices are going up, inflation's going up. Price of gold, silver, commodities, copper, in my opinion, they're all going to go up. Bottom line, this is a great time to be looking at the gold sector right now. So appreciate everyone's interest in our company. Let's get right into the presentation. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. This presentation is on our website. I certainly will be making some forward-looking statements, so I'll draw your attention to this slide. You know, we're excited about US Gold Corp, our value proposition. We've got a great asset in our company, our CK Gold project in Wyoming. In December, we put out a pre-feasibility study on the project, very robust. We now show 1.44 million gold equivalent proven and probable ounces. So that's a huge value increase from our PEA that only had measured, indicated, and inferred. You know, proven and probable ounces give you a much higher degree of economic certainty that those are economic ounces. That PFS has showed a 100,000 ounce plus production profile. It's a great deposit, low strip ratio, comes right up to surface, immediate revenue potential. We're showing a 20,000 ton a day production with a 10-year life of mine. We do have resource expansion potential there. You know, our pre-fees showed an $800 all-in sustaining cost. Today we're, as I mentioned, $1,815 an ounce on gold. So that's a really nice margin. And being Wyoming, we think it's going to be very, very fast permitting process. In addition, in our company, you know, we've got 3 other great exploration projects, Maggie Creek and Keystone in Nevada, Chalice in Idaho. We are listed on the NASDAQ, got cash in the bank, no debt. And I think it's a really good time to be looking at the company. So let's go to the next slide. Show you a little more. 4 projects currently in US Gold Corp. We're in Western mining friendly states. See the left-hand side, our flagship asset, the CK Gold project in Wyoming. So this PFS shows a lot of value, $323 million net present value. That's pre-tax. That was done at 1625 gold, 325 copper, $18 silver. All those prices are well higher today. 39.4% pre-tax IRR. At current prices, we're about a $500 million NPV today, and bumping around a 50% IRR current spot. So a lot of value in this project. Remains open. We're pushing the project right now towards feasibility and permitting. On the right-hand side, 2 Nevada exploration projects in the company: Keystone on the Cortez Trend, Maggie Creek on the Carlin, and the Chalice Gold project in Idaho. Let's go to the next slide. So give you a little financial overview of the company. You see we're listed on the NASDAQ. We're proud of that fact. One of the few gold exploration development companies with a pure NASDAQ listing. Had a volatile year last year. And like this whole sector, we ended last year closer to our 52-week low than our 52-week high, and a really difficult December, as the whole industry did. If you look at the benchmarks like the GDXJ, just got slammed into mid-December, and you see our stock chart, us as well. We've bounced back a little. Tell you the truth, everyone, it was quite frustrating because we put out our PFS December 1st. We had a little bit of an interest right away. Market started to do pretty well, and then the whole market just rolled over. So it was tough timing. But we've got a lot of value in the company. Look down below. You've got 2 analysts that follow us right now. They both have price targets significantly higher than where we are today in the market. I think the stock's somewhere around the $8.80 range. If you look at that share structure down the bottom right, 7.1 million shares of common. So we have a very tight share structure. That gives us about a $62 million market cap today. You see, we still have cash in the bank, 7.1 million US dollars on our last filing. So we're in decent shape. About a $54 million enterprise value in the company today. It's really inexpensive. I'd point out too, of that common, management insiders are pretty significant owners. They own about 25% with some selected shareholders, so have a lot of skin in the game, are very well aligned with all the shareholders out there. You see there's some warrants outstanding. Those are all exercised if this market really takes off, bring a lot more cash into treasury. Let's go to the next slide. So when you look at the valuation of our company today, look, we think we're cheap compared to the overall industry and certainly a little peer universe that we put together. So we just put together on this slide a couple companies that are, North American or Nevada open pit project developers. And you can see the key takeaway, bottom right, price to net asset value, this little universe around 0.46 times. We're trading at about 0.2 times. I think with our stock price today, about 0.19 times. So if we even get up to this industry mean of these couple of companies, the valuation could easily double from here. And you're looking at a asset in Wyoming with a $323 million net present value on that PFS with a $62 million market cap today. So quite undervalued in my opinion. Let's go to the next slide. So, we just a word on ESG. This is a big topic everyone's talking about today. US Gold Corp certainly very committed, working towards on the environmental front, a very low carbon footprint. We're really committed in Wyoming to land stewardship, talking to all of our neighbors, stakeholders, ranchers, et cetera. We look a lot at water conservation, mine plans, looking at dry stack tailings, and maybe even in the future using our big open pit hole as a water storage facility. On the center column, on the social side, we've had 0 work-related safety incidents, so we're proud of that. Really very aware of everything that goes on the ground. We got a substantial local investment. We opened up an office in Cheyenne, use local consultants, really try and spend as much money in the local Wyoming community as we can. We've done a lot of community outreach and engagement. George B., Kevin Francis, Jason Beggar, Eric Alexander, all of our consultants constantly educating people on the project, as we move this towards a permitting decision. And we really want to have everyone, well involved and educated. On the right side, on the governance, 80% of our board members are independent, 20% female director representation, and we're 100% committed to annual ESG reviews, best corporate governance practices. Let's go to the next slide, Mike. So we're going to go into the projects now. We're going to start here with our CK Gold project in Wyoming, our flagship project. This slide just show you the location. First off, look at that big map upper left of the United States. We're in Wyoming, the southeast corner. So if you wanted to get to the project, you fly into Denver, big airport, rent a car. Doesn't even have to be an SUV. Drive an hour and a half north with a regular two-wheel drive rental car. Maybe you need a four-wheel drive in a snowstorm this time of year. But once you get to Cheyenne, hook a left, you drive up I-25, hook a left, and 15 minutes later, you are literally right out on this project. It's very accessible. We have two state of Wyoming sections. You see the bottom right image there, section 36 with the outline of the pit. So it's important being on all state of Wyoming ground because the state becomes a real partner with us. And they have a 5% NSR on this project. So they have real economic interest to see us, put this forward into production. They will get a lot of money on these future potential revenues. And those monies go to the state of Wyoming K-12 educational school budget. The budget's been running a big budget deficit because they've had a real decline in Wyoming in the coal mining industry. Everyone probably knows what's going on there. There is a lot of mining in Wyoming, so it's a real mining-friendly state. You've got coal mines, there's uranium mines. There's this big industrial granite mine just south of us. You can see in this image, Martin Marietta Materials granite quarry operation. So the state knows mining very well. Being on all state of Wyoming ground, we believe gives us a much faster potential permitting process. There is no federal government oversight or involvement. There's no BLM, no EPA, no U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. So it's just the state of Wyoming authorities. We think this process is probably going to take about 12 months. We plan on filing our mine plan permit the mid part of this year. So potentially by mid 2023, we are very hopeful to have an approved mine plan permit. Also, you look at our infrastructure, just south of us, you got Interstate I-80 at Martin Marietta's granite quarry. They have a rail line and a rail spur that comes right in. We'd love to be able to use that in the future, ship diesel fuel in, ship concentrate out, have a lot of cost savings there. So great area, great location. Let's go to the next slide. So here's some of the highlights that just came out of our PFS, our pre-feasibility study. That full document, by the way, is on our website. If you want to go read a 200-page technical document, you're more than welcome. But here's the highlights. On this document, it was done by Gustafson and Associates. You see, we now have 1.44 million ounces of gold equivalent proven and probable reserves. So it's no longer a resource, it's a reserve. This, in my opinion, is real value. If you go to a Bloomberg right now and look at the average price across North America of companies that have P1, P2, proven and probable reserves, that universe is trading at $160 an ounce right now. So that could give you an idea of what sort of market cap we should have if we just get up to an industry average. We're way below that today. We've got a 10-year life of mine on the project, 20,000 ton production rate. This project is going to produce 108,500 gold equivalent ounces per year at an $800 cost. That's an all-in sustaining cost. Again, gold today is at $1,815 an ounce. So, this project has the potential to throw off $100 million in EBITDA for 10 years. Very, very profitable for our shareholders. CapEx looking at $221 million, $15 million is sustaining. And look down below, you see the sensitivity table. So the PFS was done at 1625 gold, 3.25 copper, gives you a net present value of 323 million pre-tax with a 39.4% IRR. Now the top line, 1825 gold, is right around where we are today. Copper is light, 365. Today we're at 445 copper. So the NPV today is more in the neighborhood at spot prices of around $500 million with an IRR north of 50% at spot. So this project has tremendous leverage to a rising metals price. And if the price of gold punches through $2,000 an ounce this year, which I believe it will, these economics are really, really going to shine. Let's go to the next slide. So here's our resource estimate. You look at our reserve statements, right out of the PFS, you can see this 1.44 million gold equivalent proven and probable reserve. So you can take those reserves to the bank. You can really hang your hat on them. A lot of confidence in it. The project does have this nice high grade mineralization. This high grade core comes right up to surface, surrounded by this lower grade zone, and we got good potential for expansion. Let's go to the next slide. Here's some of the highlights as well out of the PFS. So again, Gustafson used 1625 gold, 3.25 copper, pretty conservative where we are with spot prices today. Throws off net cash flow pre-tax of $500 million, NPV of 323 million, nice IRR of 39.4%, CapEx 221 million. We believe we'll have very, very attractive financing potentials on that. Payback of just 2 years, really attractive 10-year life of mine, 108,500 gold equivalent ounces per year. You look on the right, so this is going to be an open pit. We are going to produce a gold copper concentrate by flotation. And you can see that AISC, that all-in sustaining cost, very attractive, $800 an ounce. Key as well, bottom right, we're going to create well over 200 jobs. That's during the mining operations, probably a couple thousand jobs potentially in the construction phase. So nice economic shot in the arm for the greater Cheyenne area. Let's go to the next slide. Show you a little bit more here. So we're really excited about all the work we did in the pre-feasibility study. This PFS was a very robust, what I call a PFS heavy. It was not a PFS light document at all. We did a tremendous amount of engineering. We now have full plant designs. So again, as I said before, we'll be producing a gold copper concentrate by flotation. You can see these engineering schematics. We're going to have primary crushing. That'll go into a SAG and ball mill, then into the flotation. We will have that concentrate. It will go to an offsite smelter. So we have no emission stack or anything like that on the project. And ultimately dry stack tailings to really conserve as much water and put it back into the system. In addition, we've made a tremendous amount of progress. We've already secured land around our state of Wyoming leases from our local rancher. We have a right of way for the project. We do have this new resource model, the proven and probable reserves. We've got value now for the silver. We think there's real value in our aggregate. So we've got very nice looking granite aggregate. We're going to work on that to our feasibility study, which we hope to have out the mid part of this year. Doing a lot of field work. That was all done the end of last year. So the drilling, we're waiting now on the assays and some of these study results. And we're going to be filing this mine plan permit mid part of this year. Let's go to the next slide. Let's see if the engineering one comes up this time, Mike. I know we've had some trouble the last couple of weeks on it.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. Let's see. So it goes easily. Hold on, bear with me here. There we go. That one, and then
oh, we got to go back.
Yeah, that's so.
Yeah, don't worry, Mike. In interest of time.
There we go. Wait a minute.
There we go. Look at that. Oh, we were there. Now you skip back a couple, making sure everyone's still awake. All right, let's just stay here, Mike. Don't worry.
Okay.
We do have everyone. We're trying to bring.
Wait, here we go. It's coming up. I don't know why that. I guess that slide is just more data on it or something. It's just so weird that it doesn't load. I'm so sorry. All right, never mind.
It's an image. It's an engineering flow sheet. And if anyone wants to see it, just go to the PowerPoint on our website. It is this exact same PowerPoint. And I just want to, let everyone know we've done a tremendous amount of work on an engineering wise. George B., who's our president and CEO, tremendous career. He's been in this industry for over 42 years. He's put huge projects around the world into production. And this is a pretty easy and simple project for George and our team to push forward. So George really wants to get at it with Kevin Francis, our VP. They are going to push this project forward towards production. So we're really doing a lot of engineering. In addition, last year, October, November, we did a lot of drilling out in Wyoming. So you can see here, we drilled 34 core and RC holes, really for geotechnical studies, hydrology, pit slope stability, engineering, etc. We're continuing all of our environmental baseline study. We have well over 12 months worth of data now, so plenty to file the mine plan permit. We have drilled a lot of water well monitoring holes, and we're continuing to do that for our hydrology models. So we are definitely going to be in a position to file our mine plan permit by mid part of the year this year. Let's go to the next slide, Mike. So couple takeaways from this slide. Look, we put together the PFS, the value proposition around what we really know we have. And if you look on this image on the right, you can see the outline of the deposit. So that's what makes up that 1.44 million gold equivalent reserve. But this deposit definitely has blue sky upside expansion potential. We know it's open at depth, and it's open laterally and also down to the southeast. So if you look at the pit image on the upper left here, you can see we've already had some assay results that have come back from some of our initial RC holes last year. And you can clearly see, holes in mineralization below the depth of the pit limit. So we're open at depth, and some of the holes are open to the left here of the image of the pit right now. Obviously, if the price of gold and copper continue to go up, this pit could get bigger because there'd be a lot more economic material. And then we think we've got 2,900 feet of untested strike down to the southeast. So we've got a lot of upside to expand this, well beyond the 10-year life of mine. But even with what we have, kind of that bird in the hand today, there's a lot of value in this project. It's really clean, simple mineralogy. We got really low overall sulfide content, little acid generating potential, and easy project for George and the team to push forward into production. Let's go to the next slide, Mike. So here's a pathway forward. If you look at it, couple catalysts coming up for you right now. Next couple quarters, look for drill results. We're going to have the assay results from our work from last fall. We will be putting together this feasibility study. Baseline environmental monitoring is ongoing. We plan to file the permit application, hopefully by second half of this year. We think that's going to be about a 12-month review and approval process. So by mid-2023, next year, 2023, we'll have an approved mine plan permit. That would then set off the mill construction. We start building the facility. George B and the teams told me about a year. They can build this out. And so this project could potentially be in production by the end of 2024, full commercial production, 2025. Again, 10-year life of mine, looking at like $100 million a year in EBITDA, very, very profitable project at these metal prices for our shareholders. So let's go to the next slide. Have one last takeaway in Wyoming. Here's some of our future catalysts. So we've got great looking, attractive financing options, $221 million of CapEx. State of Wyoming might help us by putting up some of that money in very low interest industrial bonds. We've also been in discussion with potential vendor financing options, so it really looks good. We're going to have our drill assays come out. We're moving it towards the feasibility study. The aggregate, I touched on that before, but it really looks interesting. We have, if you read in the PFS, we have potentially 30 million tons of aggregate. That is our waste rock, non-mineralized material. It's very good looking granite. Our southern neighbor, Martin Marietta, they sell theirs for $18 a ton. So even if we could get $10 a ton, that could be potentially another $300 million of value on this project. So a lot of value in that aggregate. We're looking at that now. We're also looking at using our big hole in the ground as maybe a pit lake for water storage in the future. Got to do some more hydrology and technical studies, but we think that could be very, very viable. Moving this on advanced permitting and hope to get our mine plan permit approved in mid-2023, then ultimately construction and production. So a lot of catalysts in Wyoming and a lot of value here for our shareholders. Let's move forward, Mike. We'll go very, very quickly through Nevada and Idaho. Look, Nevada, we have two great projects. You see where we are, North Central Nevada, two of the premier gold trends, Keystone on the Cortez trend, Maggie Creek on the Carlin trend. This is definitely elephant country. Let's go right to the next slide. Start with Keystone, zooming into the Cortez trend, really prolific gold belt. And you look at our northern neighbors, Barrick Gold Country, Nevada Gold Mines, you got Cortez Hills, Pipeline, Gold Rush going into production. Keystone looks very similar. Let's go to the next slide. It's a very big property, Keystone, for us, 20 square miles. First time one company's controlled 100% of this district. So this is 650 mining claims. This is federal government ground. Our claims are all in good standing with the BLM, Bureau of Land Management. We've got an approved plan of operations. We're good to go for 10 years. We are permitted for 100 acres of disturbance. So we're ready to go. We started many years ago, with claim consolidation, moved on to mapping of the district, geophysics, geochemistry, then started out with scout hole drilling, very prospective, and now we are at targeted drilling, moving in towards discovery success. Let's go to the next slide. I want to show you a little bit of the drilling and stratigraphy. So the strat at Keystone looks amazing, really looks like our northern neighbors, great upper plate, lower plate. We've got that one band unit 5 all over the project. Every single hole at Keystone has encountered anomalous gold. Seen great brecciation, alteration, all of the pathfinders that are indicative of world-class Carlin type deposits. So we think we're really close to something, and this could be the year in 2022. Let's go to the next slide. Show you we had a good drill hole here in 2019. Some nice gold intercepts. Probably drilled this one just a little too close to the intrusive, so we've got to step out. We're designing our new 2022 exploration plans now. Continue to watch the press releases on Keystone. If we hit a discovery hole here, can really create a lot of value, I believe. Let's go to the next slide, Mike. Going to switch now to Maggie Creek. This is on the Carlin. Look how close we are to Newmont's gold quarry mine there. 26 million ounces of gold have come out of that hole in the ground. You can see in the bottom left of this image. Let's go right to the next slide, Mike. And I want to show you, we drilled this last summer, 2021, 2 holes at Maggie Creek, drilled 4,440 feet of core. We were very encouraged with those drill holes. We put out a press release. The core was that real dark sooty sulfide, big, huge, visible globs of realgar. We drilled down into the key Popovich formation. We hit it at 1,700 feet. Man, did we really think those assays were going to run? They did not, but we think we're on the edge of something extremely significant. 2022, we want to get back out here at Maggie Creek, try and follow up with discovery success. Again, if we can hit a big discovery hole here, wow, it'll be exciting. Let's go to the next slide. Talk a little bit about Chalice. This is our project in Idaho. It does have a nice historic resource, good grade, but we've got to get this permitted. We've been working on it. This is U.S. government ground, Forest Service. They've been a little slow, with all the disruptions due to the pandemic. So we're hoping, here first quarter of 2022, touch wood, we can have the permits. Just continue to watch the news. As soon as we get the permits, we'll announce our exploration plans here. So that's the 4 projects. Go to the next slide, Mike. You see a great team. We've got a lean and mean management team led by our president, CEO, George B., 42-year industry veteran, Kevin Francis and Eric Alexander, very, very experienced. 4 great independent directors that are all, really experienced mining industry veterans. The secretary, Ryan Zinke, was the former Secretary of the Interior under the Trump administration, so directly responsible for BLM. And you look at our technical advisory team, second to none. These are all, long-term relationships of George, and that's what a guy of, his standing brings to the table. So that's kind of the overview. Go to the next slide, Mike, just to summarize. We've got great assets. We are in Western mining-friendly states in the United States. No geopolitical risk. We're not in any of the stands or Africa or crazy locations. We've got a great team, accomplished explorers and mine builders. We've got incredibly compelling value in our CK Gold project in Wyoming, $323 million NPV with a $16 million market cap today. So we're really hoping that we get some recognition for the value we have there as this market takes off, hopefully in 2022. Our exploration package, any of those could be a company maker, Keystone, Maggie Creek, and Chalice. Very tight share structure, listed on NASDAQ. I think a good bull market setting up this year, and should be very, very interesting times. So that's the presentation, Mike. More than happy to see if we have any questions here at the end.
Thanks, Ed. Yeah, we got a few here we can squeeze in the last couple minutes here. First one comes from Gerald. How long do your drilling activities typically last every year?
Yeah, our drilling activities, most of our projects are remote, even mountainous, so they tend to get snowed up, pretty tough in the winter. We can usually access our projects by around the May, June timeframe, and then we can drill till about Thanksgiving. So we've got about a 5-month weather window to really get at it, whether it's Wyoming, Nevada, or Idaho. So that's pretty much our drilling window on all of our projects.
All right, thanks, Ed. Next question from Garrett. How far out are your exploration activities funded for?
Look, on our last Q, 10Q, we showed $7.1 million in cash. So we think we're in decent shape for about the next 9 months from that filing. It depends. Obviously, as a junior exploration company, you can always spend more money if you have more money. As big shareholders of the company, none of us like to see dilution, especially at these share prices. We would certainly like to see this market pick up a lot more before next financing. But we're in good shape for the moment. Certainly, if the stock price heads higher in the future, could potentially raise more money and have even more robust exploration plans.
Great, thanks, Ed. Okay, we'll take up a couple more here. Got one from Tyler. Will you drill at all your properties this year, or will you just focus on CK Gold?
The focus in the last year was really on CK Gold, and I think that'll continue to be the focus this year. George B and the team are really committed to getting that into production. And if we can, again, that has the potential to throw off $100 million of EBITDA per year. So that would fund really big exploration programs for Keystone, Maggie Creek, and Chalice. So I think that will be the focus this year. We do want to definitely follow up at Maggie Creek because we were so encouraged with those drill holes of last year. So we're just kind of putting the finishing touches on budgets right now. Stay tuned, and there'll be more announcements in the future.
All right, we're out of time. I'll take one more from Todd here. He has asked, have you been approached recently by any potential acquisition suitors or JV partners for any of your properties?
Yeah, I've touched on this in prior webinars. We put out some press releases on this. We are always in active discussions, as probably a lot of the juniors in the industry are. Some of the big majors and even mid-tiers are sniffing around. If you're watching this industry closely, you'll notice in the last couple of weeks and months, kind of a flurry of M&A activity has started. So I think that's really going to continue, if not accelerate, here in 2022 as the gold and silver prices pick up. Even copper heads significantly higher. So if a discussion, continues and develops, and the management team, George B, gets to a deal that he thinks could be a good value for the shareholders, I'm sure that he will let everyone know.
Great. Well, Ed, thank you. And everyone, as always, thank you for your time, for joining us. I think we've covered everything. Any other closing remarks, Ed?
Yeah, I'd say, just hold on. I know it's been a little tough for everyone in 2021. I do believe the clouds are going to part. The sun's going to come out on the gold market here in 2022 because of this inflation. If you have not done so, please go to our website. You can sign up for our news releases, continue to monitor the SEC filings of the company, and just watch the progress as we move forward. Great team, great assets, and, really in a position to capitalize on a developing bull market this year.
Great. Thanks, Ed. Everyone, as always, these replays will be available later today if you joined us late at CEORoadshow.com. We encourage you also to sign up for future webinars. We'll be doing these and have been doing them for a while every Tuesday at 11:30. So, it's not often that you get to hear directly from the management team live in a webinar. So we encourage you to keep your eye on US Gold, keep them on your radar. And Ed, we'll talk to you next week. Everyone, Happy New Year and take care.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.